Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checkered flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep the feet. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checkered flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. PeaceMaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep the feet. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. PeaceMaker's mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Bristol Motor Speedway. Bristol Motor Speedway here, the home this evening for the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League as these drivers get ready to go to battle. They get ready to duke it out here this evening, each and every one of them looking to try to find their way into victory lane. As Mrs. Holler in the chat says, "Sup, PeaceMaker? Thanks for all you do." I got you, Miss Holler. I got you. Absolutely. Love to see Casey in the chat, and we love to be here every single night putting on a show for all the fans in the stands as we get them all ready to rumble, ready to rock and roll. Here this evening, we will take a look here at our point standings as we'll go over to this channel. There we go, and we will get a look here at our point standings right now. So as of right now, after last week's race, it is Matthew Wood with the points lead here. Almost 100 points difference between first and second here for these playoffs. And time is running out in a quick hurry for drivers to try to gain ground, try to work themselves into that championship contention as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty of the season, getting close to coming to an end here. Only 4 races after tonight. So this is after our halfway marker. Actually, I don't believe it's quite halfway. I think this is our 4th race of the playoffs. Is this the 4th or 5th? I know we missed a week with Charlotte where we skipped over, but I think that just got replaced. So maybe this is the 5th race of the playoffs here. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. So there may be 5 races left here in these playoffs, somewhere around there, 5 or 4. But nonetheless, it is coming to a close in a quick hurry. And to have that big of a points lead for Matthew Wood, he is sitting in a great position, obviously. And if you can keep on stacking up those points, continue to keep on putting together great races and picking up wins, then Matthew Wood could definitely become our inaugural season champion here with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Applegate, Stewart, Glader, Mickelson, Nick Biddy, and all these other drivers in tow trying to, close that gap, trying to reel in enough points to maybe put a little pressure on to Matthew Wood here in the closing weeks of this series. But for right now, it is a tight battle here for even that second spot when you look back between, Applegate to Evan Stewart, from Stewart to Zach Glader, and Mickelson really tight there on points. Not too far back, just outside the top 5 in points. You see Nick Biddy and Ryan Haller. Zach Perry's right there as well. So the point standings outside of the top position are still very tight as we'll get all these drivers ready to rumble, ready to go to battle here as our main feature event about to get underway. So these drivers getting ready to duke it out here, getting ready to go to battle here this evening for 250 laps of racing action. It's starting in the pole position. It is Matthew Wood. Matthew will start in the pole position here this evening. It's Aiden Lucas who will start there to his outside. Good to see Aiden back in here after missing a few weeks. Unfortunately, he's kind of took it himself out of the playoff contention here this evening for the season, but good to see him back out there. At least going to look to try to have a good run here tonight and hopefully for the rest of the season, as Zach Glader will start there in position number 3, and he gets us number 39 ride. Wyatt Mickelson in the HendrickCars.com, that Fueled Up Motorsports machine, will start there in 4th. Ethan Greek in his Tracker Boats Bass Pro Shop number 3 ride will start there in 5th. Into his outside in the HP Racing AG's Designs number 37, it is Evan Stewart. Starting in position number 7, another Hardy Designs ride, the HB Racing 86 machine, the Turning Point USA ride, the 86, it is Dustin Hardy starting there in 7th. To his outside in that beautiful number 5 ride, that is Xavier Ruggle Bruggy starting there in 8th. Starting in position number 9 in the 22Q.org machine, that is the 46 of Mike Corriveau. Corriveau will start there in 9th. To his outside in the Turning Point USA number 17, it is Jason Bogart. Jaden Porter in the Sim Racing Center 74 ride will start back in 11th. To his outside in the Dr. Pepper number 97, that is Caleb Holloman. Starting in position number 13 in the 81 ride, it's the Red Bull machine of Jaden Browder. To his outside in the 76, that is the 1776 Motorsports machine, the Busch Light ride of Zach Perry. Starting in position number 15 in the number 23, that is the DoorDash Roku machine, that is the 23 of Ryan Haller. To his outside will be the 12 ride of Brandon Eddington there in the body armor machine. Then we see Nick Jensen in his Turning Point USA, the Charlie Kirk machine there in position number 18. To his inside will be the 32, that is Nick Biddy. Starting in position number 19 in the 7 ride, it is the Team Team Watson Racing Setups ride of Caden Gargiulo. You'll have the 38 of Keegan Huey back there behind him. The 49 ride of Jeff Hurrick back in 21st. Unfortunately, Nathan Brookover not out there on the racetrack to start this race as Matthew Wood getting ready to see that green flag fly. It looks like the lights are still on the official iRacing pace car, so we'll get a little bit more time here before we see the green flag displayed this evening. So they're going to get a couple extra laps in here before we see the green flag displayed here this evening, as the official iRacing safety vehicle does have the lights turned off, so it looks like we're going to get ready to go back to battle as Anna Alessandro says, "What's up, everybody? What's up, Anna?" As Mrs. Holler says, "Love you too." We all appreciate you. I appreciate you guys tuning in and showing the love here for each and every one of these races as we get ready to set them loose. We get ready to go to battle as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as the Wheel to Wheel Racing League back to battle here at Bristol Motor Speedway as the green flag is displayed down and out of corner number 4. Our points leader Matthew Wood sees that green flag fly quickly, gets onto the lap pedal, looks to try to clear that 34, and it's exactly what he will do. Is down into corner number 3 quickly, nice and easy, down and out of corner number 4. He will lead lap number 1 here this evening at Bristol Motor Speedway as Matthew Wood out in front has the early race lead, and now we'll look to try to hold on to it here for the rest of the night as Aiden Lucas right there in that GOAT iRacing, or the GOAT diecast machine number 34 rolls there in position number 2. Clater in 3rd. Wyatt Mickelson rolls in position number 4. Evan Stewart there in 5th early on. Up a spot as we do see Xavier Rugglebruggy trying to take over position number 6 here from Ethan Greek. Him and Greek door to door. Nice and easy. And now look out, sideways, trying to catch it into the fence. Goes the 5 right now, going to bounce off a bunch of cars. A bunch of drivers collected here in this one. Caution flag on the racetrack. Xavier Rugglebruggy unfortunately rolling that outside lane. Tire pressure's not built up too much. And unfortunately down into corner number 3, we got a great look at it. But here we go. Another angle, another look at it. It's the 5 ride. Just gets loose right here. Loses the rear end. And as he does, the car is just going to continue to travel up the racetrack. Keeps working its way up. Keeps working its way up. Gets into the outside fence. And unfortunately, after bouncing off the wall, comes back down the racetrack. Look out as Zach Perry gets a piece of him. Here comes Caleb Holloman. You look at, oh man, great piece of driving right there by Bogart, able to avoid him. Unfortunately, the 12 ride, the 81 of Browder, the 74 of Jaden Porter, and you see the 23 of Ryan Haller, all getting some pretty good contact into that. Everyone else trying to get checked up, trying to avoid any more carnage right there. But man, there was a lot of cars that just got a lot of damage right here. Obviously, it starts with Rugglebruggy here. Xavier gets into the fence and then heavy damage there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars all just getting tore up right there. Pretty heavy contact and damage early on here this evening. And unfortunately, that's going to send a lot of them down pit road trying to get repaired. You also see the 42 right, Nick Jensen coming down pit side. Keegan Huey, he didn't get much damage in that. Also heads down pit road in his Turning Point USA number 38 ride. Also down pit road, man. We're loving all the Turning Point USA and the Charlie Kirk Memorial cars out there on the racetrack here this evening, man. Absolutely love that. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, and obviously our hearts and prayers go to his friends, his family, all of the USA, and everyone across the world that Charlie had helped and helped mentor and brought his message to, man. And it will be greatly missed, as we are all Charlie Kirks now, as we see these drivers roll back out onto the racetrack. Beautiful, beautiful looking ride there for him. We see a lot of these other drivers, as you see the quote there on the back bumper, as with your help I can advance against a troop. With my God, I can scale a wall. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Amen to that. As you see Keegan Huey sporting that paint scheme. We saw a lot of other drivers sporting those paint schemes here today, as well as we saw, obviously, the 17 ride in his beautiful Turning Point USA machine out there on the racetrack, looking to try to work his way towards the front of the field. The beautiful message of God through the He Gets Us as well on the 39 ride. I absolutely love that on Clater's machine, and all these drivers, man, just each and every one of these races since the tragic murder and assassination of Charlie Kirk, man. The iRacing communities really came in strong in supporting and showing their love and appreciation for everything Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA meant. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Matthew Wood sees that green flag fly once again as he gets another great launch and a great jump right there between himself and that number 34 ride of Aiden Lucas here this evening. As Sim Racing puts his hands up. Ah, no, palm to the face. Yeah, unfortunate break there for Xavier early on here in this one. Luckily enough, it is early on here in this one. As Anna says, I love watching this. We love having the chat cheering these guys on. As nice driving by Bogart there. Yeah, Bogart with a heck of a drive there to be able to avoid and dodge a couple of those cars spinning out right there, keeping that beautiful Turning Point USA car out of damage and carnage early on. Could be a big break there for Bogart throughout this race as Matthew Wood continues to lead the way. Lucas there in second, Mickelson up and into third as we do see Zach Later fall back to fourth, and he's got Ethan Greek working to his outside here. Greek blinking a little bit, but rolling that outside lane, trying to work his way up towards the front of the field. Evan Stewart back there in that sixth position, trying to get that car rolling to the point. Here is Mike Corriveau right there with him. Jason Bogart back in position number 8, and even with a little bit of front end damage on that Roku DoorDash number 23 of Ryan Haller, he rolls there in position number 9. Did not come down pit road to get that damage repaired, and will keep on battling here this evening. The 7 of Caden Gargiulo rounding out our top 10 as you see Zach Perry there in position number 11. Nick Biddy back in position number 12. Jaden Browder there in 13th with Keegan Huey back in 14th. Nick Jensen, Jeff Hurek there in position number 16. Xavier Rongelbroggi trying to work his way back up there as Rongelbroggi now back in that 17th position. Jaden Porter there with him in 18th. Brandon Eddington back in 19th. Unfortunately, serving a black flag early in this race. The Hardy Designs number 86 ride, unfortunately, is a lap down. He needs another couple caution flags here to try to work himself back on the lead lap. Is Dustin Hardy in his Hardy Designs Turning Point USA number 86. Couple times he's gotten up into that outside fence, and you do see quite a bit of right front damage there on that 86 ride as the HP Racing Machine hoping to try to get back into the battle here today. Unfortunately for the 97 rider Caleb Holloman also a few laps down here early on this evening. Unfortunately for him, he's kind of in a tough position as Dustin Hardy should be getting lucky dogs before he will here this evening, but as we continue to run green flag laps, the more and more likely that they may fall another lap down, or potentially other drivers will fall one lap down, is becoming more and more evident as Brandon Eddington here right now rolling nice and easy down the back straightaway as he rolls down the backstretch into corner number 3. Here comes our race leaders already virtually on the same straightaway as that number 12 ride. And he could quickly become a lap down here. And if he does go a lap down, that will take the lucky dog, the free pass position, potentially out of the hands there of Dustin Hardy and some of our other lap down drivers. So we'll have to wait and see what kind of strategies and plans that they can use here to try to work into their favor, as we do have stage breaks here this evening as well. So we will see a stage break, I do believe, on lap number 60 and lap number 120 here this evening. So unfortunately, lap 60, lap 120 will be caution flags, but other than that, these drivers will have ample amount of times to try to run some green flag pit stops. But here at Bristol, this is a tricky place to get down pit road, and then at the same point in time, it is so fast. You run a lap here so quickly that you can fall 2-3 laps down in an instant, making a green flag pit stop. So you got to be very careful for when you come down pit road. As James Jones in the chat says, let's go Fish and Hardy. I don't think Fisher's even out there, is he? I don't think the Fish is out there, unfortunately. We haven't seen the Fish all playoffs. I don't know what happened to Dustin Hardy. I feel like we saw him maybe week 1 of our playoffs. Since then, we have not seen Jordan Fisher out there on the racetrack, and he was really probably going to be one of the drivers to really give Matthew Wood a run for his money here for that championship, and especially now without Applegate out there as well. There's no Grant Applegate out there on the Speedway. He's second place in our point standings. He's not out on the Speedway, and with him not being out there, that could give even more of a points lead here to Matthew Wood this evening. Evan Stewart may be able to leapfrog Applegate, jump up into second here in our point standings. Zach Glader, Mickelson, Biddy, Haller, and everyone else would love to try to leapfrog Applegate, put him back behind them, and gain that extra spot here in the points. And we'll have to wait and see kind of how these points get shooken up here. This is one of those racetracks that you have a bad night, it can hurt you a lot. If you have a good night, it could help you a ton here. But right now, everyone not only in this race chasing down Matthew Wood, but they're also trying to chase him down in the point standings here as well. As James Jones says, HB Racing all day. He says all day for the HB Racing crew out there on the Speedway. And yeah, the HB Racing team obviously has a lot of good fast cats in their stable, and they're all looking to do a great job here this evening. We already saw an issue there for the HB Racing number 5 ride of Xavier Brungi. He's looking to rebound from it though, as he's gotten that 5 machine back up inside the top 11 right now, just on the outside of the top 10 looking in. As down across the line, they will complete lap number 30 here this evening. So already 30 laps in. They can click these laps off in a quick hurry. As these guys roll out there on the racetrack right now, everyone running inside the 15-second bracket. But when they get a restart or fresh tires onto these cars, they can run sub 15-second lap times. Running into the 14-second bracket here for lap times out there on the racetrack. And running that quickly, when you run into an issue, when you have a problem, you can fall back in a quick hurry. As here we go, you do see Zach Glader potentially about to be the next driver to go a lap down, or not Zach Glader, this is Zach Perry in the 76, the 1776 ride, potentially about to go a lap down out there on the racetrack. And there we go, has a little bit of left front damage on the 76 ride. We did see him down on the apron there for a split second. Looked like he may have gotten into the inside fence, and unfortunately for Zach Perry, now a lap down. Now he's the first car 1 lap down. Quickly needs a caution flagger for this stage to end, as the 49 ride about to potentially go a lap down here as well. If Jeff Hurrick does lose a lap, if Matthew Wood gets around him, that will take Zach Perry out of the lucky dog position, and that will move Jeff Hurrick into the lucky dog spot. Nick Jensen and a few of these other drivers not too far away from potentially going a lap down as well, including some of our playoff drivers. When you look at Ryan Haller, Nick Biddy, you see Keegan Huey right there as well. As they're 3 wide right there. Look out, that got tight in a quick hurry, as the 86 of Dustin Hardy, after having to serve an opening lap penalty, the 86 ride already a few laps down, does not want to lose another lap. It's going to get tougher and tougher for him throughout this race. As Jaden Porter a lap down, Zach Perry, Brandon Eddington, Jeff Hurrick now a lap down, and potentially even you do see the 42 ride of Nick Jensen not too far away from being lapped here himself. So for a lot of these drivers, you just want to try to keep yourself in this fight, keep yourself in the battle, and not going a lap down is the way to do it. But if you lose a lap, you just got to hope that there's an abundance of caution flags or ample opportunities for you to take some wave arounds and getting back on to the lead lap here this evening. And that may be the key to a lot of these drivers trying to get themselves back into the action throughout this race. Is nice and easy. Down and out of corner number 4, Matthew Wood will lead lap number 40. So 40 laps completed. 20 laps left to go here in stage number 1. And Matthew Wood trying to put as many drivers a lap down as he can, as the 16 ride has been a 1.5 second lead advantage between himself and Aiden Lucas. Lucas rolls there in second, with Wyatt Mickelson in position number 3. Zach Glader back there in 4th. Evan Stewart holds on to position number 5 out there on the racetrack. Ethan Greek, Caden Gargiulo, Jaden Browder, Xavier Brungi, and Nick Biddy rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Bogart unfortunately falls back now into the 11th position, but he has Keegan Huey, Ryan Haller right there behind him. As here we go, Haller about to lose a lap, as Matthew Wood now puts our 13th place driver a lap down, and with Haller sliding back behind this 42 ride, Nick Jensen now into that lucky dog position. But Keegan Huey not too far away from potentially going a lap down here himself. The 86 ride of Dustin Hardy there, he is already a couple laps down. Does not want to fall farther back here in this one. Is Caboose. What's good, Caboose? Coming in, showing the love, says, what's up, Peacemaker? What's up, Caboose? How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Sunday. As Matthew Wood, he's out here on cruise control, looking to just keep on clicking these drivers off, continue to put more and more of them a lap down. He's trying to hunt down this 86, trying to put another lap down here for Dustin Hardy, but he's also trying to chase down Keegan Huey. He sees the 17 of Jason Bogart, Nick Biddy there as well. These are drivers that are all on the lead lap, and they're all drivers that are a part of our playoffs. And if you can try to put one or two or multiple of our playoff drivers a lap down out there on the racetrack, it may make it easier for him throughout this race. As here he comes quickly to the back bumper of the 86 ride. Matthew Wood looking to try to slice and dice his way through this traffic. Is down into corner number 3. Hardy's going to give him that inside lane, and he's going to take a look down low. It's down across the line. Lap 48 is completed. So we got 12 laps left to go here in the stage, and now we see the 17 of Bogart push up the racetrack. 2 Turning Point USA rides get tied together right there. Bogart will now fall a lap down. There goes Keegan Huey, also a lap down now to Matthew Wood. So Matthew Wood now passing a few more of our playoff drivers, and only our top 10 still on the lead lap to this point. Nick Biddy, the next driver to potentially go a lap down. Now, luckily enough, he does have a couple seconds between himself and Matthew Wood, but how quickly can Wood close that gap and reel in that 32 and try to put Nick Biddy a lap down out there on the racetrack, and even trying to potentially catch up to Xavier Rugglebrugge. Is Rugglebrugge now running into some traffic here, heavy traffic in and around him, as more of our lap down cars starting to hit our 8th and 9th place drivers here, so things are getting a little tight for them. May start to back up their times out there on the racetrack, as Xavier looking to try to take over position number 8 here from that 81 of Jaden Browder. Browder trying to hold on to 8th as they battle door to door, but it's Matthew Wood out in front, clear sailing for him, as the 34 ride of Aiden Lucas. So let's get through a few of these lap down cars here. He's about 2 seconds back of our race leader, and Matthew Wood kind of just on cruise control right now, knowing that as of this moment, he's got a pretty sizable advantage here. He's only got a few laps left to go here in stage number 1 as they complete lap number 54. That means only 6 laps left here in this stage, and 6 laps can go by in a quick hurry, as he will roll around the 74 ride and unfortunately put Jaden Porter another lap down out there on the racetrack. Tough break there for the Sim Racing Center number 74 machine, as Matthew Wood out in front continue to hold on to the top spot here. Still 2 seconds between himself in Aiden Lucas. Wyatt Mickelson back there in 3rd. Zach Later in position number 4 with that 37 ride of Evan Stewart right there with him. Stewart inside the top 5 here. May look to try to earn a couple more points here before the end of this stage if he can catch up to that 39 ride, but time is running out in a quick hurry, as here comes that 16 of Matthew Wood back down across the line. 3 laps left to go here in stage number 1 this evening. So stage number 1 coming to a quick close, as ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you guys are enjoying the amazing racing action here by all these great drivers, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up on the broadcast right now. Hit the like button for us on the broadcast. Hit that subscribe button. Become a new member of the Peacemaker family here this evening. Is Matthew Wood nice and easy down in out of corner number 4. We'll see 1 to go here in stage number 1. So 1 more lap for Matthew Wood to win our first stage of the day, as he'll take us down the back straightaway. The gap has shrunk here. He's been just hanging out behind that 76 right, not wanting to put the 76 another lap down. It's not going to matter how much Aiden Lucas closed the gap, as Matthew Wood will lead and win stage number 1 here this evening. So stage number 1 coming to a close. There is the caution flag, as here we go, man. Some great racing tonight, Anna. Some great racing here this evening, as Matthew wins our first stage. Aiden Lucas there in second. Mickelson, Clater, and Evan Stewart will round out our top 5 here this evening. Now we do see Aiden Lucas quickly coming down pit road here. We do see Mickelson, Evan Stewart now pit side. We should see some more of our drivers start to work their way down pit road here, as green flag pit stops, or not green flag pit stops, but pit stops underway. Now this could be part of the I don't know, maybe just some interesting pit strategy here. It looks like Matthew Wood not going to come down pit road, so maybe trying to keep the track position. They may be able to make it to stage number 2 without having to make a pit stop here this evening, so we'll have to wait and see if Matthew Wood, Clater, Caden Gargiulo, and any of these other drivers elect to actually come down pit road. Here we go. Matthew Wood does make the hard left-hand turn. He comes down pit side. Now here comes Zach Clater, Caden Gargiulo, Xavier Arango-Brungi, Jaden Browder, Ethan Greek, Nick Biddy, and the rest of the field all coming down pit side. Now Keegan Huey does get the free pass, the lucky dog back onto the lead lap, so great break right there for that 38 right back into the action. That should put 11 drivers on the lead lap, but we should see a few trying to get the wave around. So Nick Jensen, Jason Bogart, Mike Corriveau, all these drivers taking the wave around here. We do see 74 Ryan looking for the wave, as well as Ryan Haller down pit side, Jeff Herrick, Brandon Eddington. So a few of them not electing to take the wave around, a few of them staying out on the racetrack here to take the wave. We'll have to wait and see how that gets played out and where iRacing puts them, as we see Mickelson being shown as the race leader. Now, I'm not sure where this will stack everybody up for the restart. I don't know, as iRacing sometimes here with the series, it kind of opens up pit lane after the race leader has already went by the commitment cone, so it kind of messes with drivers, and it's kind of done this a few times here, so we'll have to wait and see how iRacing scores this and how iRacing puts these guys into their correct positions here for the restart. But as of right now, it is showing Wyatt Mickelson is the race leader. Evan Stewart back in second. Matthew Wood will be scored in position number 3. Zach Clater back in fourth. Xavier Arango-Brungi up and into fifth. Caden Gargiulo, Ethan Greek, Nick Biddy, our top 8. Aiden Lucas, unfortunately, scored now back in position number 9 with Keegan Huey there in 10th. Jaden Browder back in position number 11. Nick Jensen, Jason Bogart, who took the wave arounds, they're back in 12th and 13th position on the racetrack. Brandon Eddington is now the first driver 1 lap down out on the Speedway. As here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing, as out in front, that is the 51 of Wyatt Mickelson, who will see that green flag fly. As, oh no, Dustin Hardy, brother, that is a tough break for you, man. That is a tough break. Says, I'm out, he says. I'm out. Oh, man, that's a tough break. And now a tough slide right there for the 51 as Mickelson slides. And now here we go. Herrick's around. Caution flag will fly. So the caution flag will come back out, as Matthew Wood did jump back to the race lead. But let's take a look and see what happens here. There's obviously issues for Wyatt Mickelson down into, I do believe this is corner 3 and 4. As let's take a look here. Maybe a little help from Matthew Wood. Matthew gets a great run, takes a peek down to his inside. And it looks like the 51 right of Mickelson maybe just trying to pinch him down there, trying to maybe block that lane up a little bit too far. And unfortunately, as he does that, the 16 showing the nose down low, he is there. Now he could roll out of it, or he could keep his nose into it, and unfortunately for the 51, kind of crowding him down there, not giving him the lane after he got down to his inside. And unfortunately, Matthew gets a piece of him, slides that 51 up the racetrack. Pretty solid contact to the outside fence there for Wyatt, and unfortunately, as he gets stuck up into the fence, we see some issues back here for the 49 of Jeff Herrick, as it looks like Herrick and the 81 ride going to make contact. So I'm sure the 49 trying to get checked up for the 51. 81 not checking up as much, just gets into him, runs him over, and unfortunately, we see a few more drivers get collected, as that is Jaden Porter in there and Keegan Huey. Huey had just gotten that lucky dog, the free pass, and unfortunately, he gets checked up, trying to avoid it, makes a little contact there, gets sideways and heavy contact into that left front for the 38 machine, and for Jaden Porter, also heavy front end damage. He'll tow that car down pit road. He is still down pit side, and that may unfortunately take him out of this race. We may see a few drivers unfortunately earn that demise here this evening, as the damage, the carnage, it can affect your race and take you out of this race in a quick hurry. And if you fall multiple laps down, like what we saw with Mr. Dustin Hardy, being so many laps down and then more drivers that go a lap down, it just takes you really out of contention to earn those laps back. We do see Hardy unfortunately now off the racetrack since lap number 44, and obviously now 20 plus laps down, but unfortunately for him, he was about 4 or 5 laps down there. Even if you're 2 laps down or 3 laps down and you see another driver go 1 lap down, it takes you out of that lucky dog position. And the more and more drivers that go 1 lap down, then 2 laps down, and Hardy getting past himself, going another lap down or 2, obviously throughout that long run at the end of our first stage, it just becomes tougher and tougher and tougher, and it just starts to mount up more and more and more to where he just cannot rebound from it. As Brian Underwood says, "Let's go Wyatt," cheered on Wyatt out there on the racetrack. Unfortunate break there for Mickelson after the contact there and sliding up the racetrack. Luckily enough, still in contention, still battling here. Did not lose a lap or anything else. Doesn't look like too much damage there to the HendrickCars.com machine. So he'll get ready to restart here from, I do believe, the 9th position here on the racetrack, as Keegan Huey will be there to his outside. Nick Jensen, I do believe, back on the lead lap. Jaden Browner back on the lead lap. Jason Bogart and Brandon Eddington also back on the lead lap. Ryan Haller, first car 1 lap down in that 23 ride. Would love to see another quick caution flag to get himself back into the action here this evening, as we see a driver scrape the outside fence, as Matthew Wood with a great restart, quickly getting a good launch again. Jumps out to a sizable lead as Ethan Greek right there on his back bumper. Greek trying to hunt him down as Evan Stewart slides back into position number 3. Xavier Rugglebronky, we saw him spin early on, brought out that first caution flag of the day. He's rebounded nicely as he's gotten that 5 ride back up inside the top 5 as Rugglebronky rolls in position number 4 and continues to look for more. Aiden Lucas, who came home second in that first stage of the day, he's there in that 5th position trying to work his way back up towards our race leader, but look out, Nick Biddy around. Caution flag on the racetrack. Caution flag is back out as Nick Biddy goes for a loop-de-loop here down the backstretch, and unfortunately, or actually this is the front straightaway, but nonetheless goes for a loop-de-loop here. So Biddy on the outside, the 7 of Gargiulo down on the inside, and it looks like Gargiulo maybe just tight on corner exit, washes up the racetrack and gets into that left rear quarter panel of the 32 ride. That will hook Nick Biddy around here, and as Biddy goes around, you do see Keegan Huey get in there, get some damage. Looks like Wyatt Mickelson going to get some damage there as well as he bounces off the tail end of the 7 ride, and unfortunately that does bring our caution flag out. So that means we'll get everyone kind of ready to rumble once again. So Jason Bogart down pit road here, looking to play some strategy. We do see Zach Perry in line to potentially get the lucky dog here. I'm not sure if Ryan Haller was in position or not. It does not look like he was, so it will give the lucky dog to the 76. So Zach Perry back onto the lead lap here this evening, as Brian says, it happens. It does happen. It does happen. That is for certain. It happens to the best of us. That is for certain. As Hardy Design says, yeah, I'm a not comment. Okay, yep. I feel you. I feel you, Hardy. I feel you, Hardy Designs. That's up to your discretion, brother. And I 100% appreciate that. And sometimes words are better left unspoken, as Antoinette says. Great racing, Xavier. Some great racing there for Xavier, getting back up towards the front here. And for the 5 ride, looking to continue his march back up towards the front of the field, hoping that he can battle Matthew Wood here this evening for the race win. But he's got Ethan Greek and Evan Stewart that he's still got to try to figure a way to get around. As 77 laps completed here. They click these laps off in a quick hurry, especially during the green flag conditions. The more green flag laps that we can do, the quicker this race may come to a close. We will have at least one more caution flag here for when stage 2 comes to a close. But being Bristol Motor Speedway, man, we tend to see a lot of carnage, a lot of tore up race cars, and a lot of yellow flags. So even if your driver is a lap or multiple laps down, you do not want to count them out as of yet, because there is still a lot of time to work yourself back into the action. As Matthew Wood has the race lead, getting ready for another big restart here, getting ready to jump back onto the loud pedal, hoping to keep all these drivers back there at bay. As Matthew looks to see this green flag fly, waiting patiently here and hoping that none of these other drivers can find a run or trying to beat him here this evening, as we know that he's always so fast, so good, already winning that first stage, already having almost a 100-point lead here for the championship. Gonna make things very, very tough for everyone else in these playoffs to try to knock him off the top spot. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Green flag back out into the air, and quickly caution flag will come right back out. Nick Jensen gets turned. Jensen around, caution flag back out into the air. So let's take a look here at the 42 right on the restart. So it's the 12 machine on his back bumper. Now, I do believe the 12 right is Brandon Eddington. So Eddington trying to get a good launch here, a good start. I'm not sure if the 42 misses a shift or just fires late. Oh, spins the tires. There you go. So that will happen quite often here as well at Bristol. And unfortunately here for the Turning Point USA number 42 rider, Nick Jensen, another one of our beautiful Charlie Kirk Memorial rides here this evening. We'll see it right here. Spins the tires. Unfortunately for the 12 ride, nowhere for him to really go. Gets into the back end of the 42, spins him around. You do see a little damage there for the other Turning Point USA ride, and they're going to meet nose to nose here on the front straightaway right at the flag stand there as both Turning Point rides come to a halt, and that will bring the yellow flag back out. So a quick caution flag, and quickly we'll try to get everyone ready to rumble here again. Everyone ready to go back to battle. Now, there are a lot of drivers that are heading down pit side, a lot of drivers that are trying to work themselves up towards the front, obviously taking waiver rounds or, any of our other, terms of trying to get back onto lead lap. Now, we see, Perry, we see Jason Bogart, Nick Jensen, they're all down pit road, obviously either trying to get repairs to their race cars or maybe trying to play a little bit of strategy here. They have 5 sets of tires. Now, that is a lot of tires here at Bristol, especially if we see long green flag runs. There's not going to be a lot of green flag pit stops, so virtually, taking opportunities, taking chances to come down pit road, put fresh tires on, or get fuel could potentially give you the track position to get you up to the front of the field here after other drivers come down pit road. You can kind of leapfrog them and put yourself up to the point. As Trisha Lou says, let's go, Xavier Rugglebroggy says, Mr. 500 horses inside his machine. He's got 500 horses in there. How do they fit them all in there? That's the big question. How do they fit 500 horses into that, man? Are they like mini ponies or what are they? Are miniature horses? 500 horses in there. That's got to be crazy to get all that underneath that car, man. That is wild. Not a whole lot of room for 500 horses. As here we go, we're gonna get ready to go back to green flag racing as Matthew Wood once again getting ready for another big restart, hoping to try to keep these guys back there at bay and hoping that he can kind of oh, nope, never mind. Hang on. We get the word from our spotter here in the race officials that we are not going back green. We are going to get an additional lap here under the yellow flag. So the yellow flag will stay out as we may have seen Bogart run into some issues back here a little deeper in the field. I see crash, but I don't know what may have happened. Trying to catch up to the rear of the field, and for the 17, he's trying to get there as quick as possible, then goes for a slide and gets sideways, goes around right there. So under the yellow, just trying to catch back up to the rear of the field, goes for a slide there for the 17 machine, and we'll stay under the yellow flag, but we will get ready to go back to green flag racing this lap around, and we'll go back to duking it out here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Alrighty, is the green flag back out into the air for Matthew Wood. Wood gets a great launch and a great restart once again. Clears that 37 of Evan Stewart. Now Stewart kind of trying to hang on to position number 2, but Ethan Greek quickly jumps down to his inside with contact. Look out, there goes Xavier Rugglebruggy. Xavier hard up into the outside fence. Caution flag on the racetrack again here. Big hit as there's some contact here between Aiden Lucas and Xavier Rugglebruggy here down into corner number 3 on the Speedway, and that contact just loosens him up and snap hooks this car into the outside fence. Here we go. Here's the contact. 5 ride going to get a little bit loose right here. He tries to save it, and then the car just snap hooks up the racetrack. Hard contact into the outside fence. Zach Clater nowhere to go. Slams into him. Heavy damage there for both the 5 and the 39 ride. And then obviously everyone just trying to dodge him, trying to keep themselves out of any more carnage or mayhem out there on the racetrack. Good piece of driving as drivers able to jump down and around him, able to keep themselves from running into that 5 machine. But man, that was a big hit there for Xavier Bruggy, and I do believe that may take him down pit road here for an extended period of time trying to get this car fixed up. He may be down there for quite a while trying to get this thing back together and back rolling here this evening as, oh man, that is Bristol in a nutshell right there. The nudge, the contact, and the snap hook around here in these NASCAR Cup cars can take you out of contention a quick way. I do believe Ryan Hawther in line here to potentially get the lucky dog back on the lead lap. We do now have 15 cars back on the lead lap as our second stage of the day. We saw 1 yellow flag there in stage number 1. Stage number 2, a little bit tougher to get rolling here. Definitely taking these guys a little bit more time, a little bit more patience to get things rolling, and unfortunately just have not been able to get things to click and see good green flag laps, and that's bringing in the potential of seeing this stage come to a quick close here as stage number 2 will end at the completion of lap number 120. As lap 120 comes to a close, we see the stage come to an end. It will give us a 130-lap run to the end after we go back. Green flag racing should be about halfway marker, so it should be about 125 laps after the end of stage number 2. But right now, we're just trying to get to that point. We got about 30 laps left to go here in this stage, and for a lot of these drivers, they're hoping to try to earn their ticket back on the lead lap, still try to work their way up towards the front here in this one. As Hardy Design says, well, dang, he says, dang is for certain. Trish says, no. Yeah, no is tough right there. That is a tough hit there for Xavier, and being down pit road here for an extended period of time at Bristol is no easy task. You can go a lot of laps down in a quick hurry. We do see Caleb Holloman back out there. Now he's about 5 laps down, 5 laps down. Jaden Porter still down pit side. Dustin Hardy out of this race. And unfortunately for Xavier Bruggy, his day may be over. As Matthew Wood out in front gets another great restart, as we do see a black flag here on Ethan Greek. So black flag here on this 3 machine, but we do see the caution flag again come back out. We'll have to take another look at it, see what happened, see where this kind of got started as another yellow flag. I'm not sure where or who or what may have happened to bring the yellow out. Don't really see anyone turned around or sideways. Or take a look here. We did see a car. Was that potentially Jason Bogart around here maybe? Nope, checked up. Nick Biddy checked up there as well. And Nick Jensen potentially having issues. Let's take a look here at Nick Biddy. What happens here to the Biddy ride? Potentially something here with Nick. Okay, there we go. We're going to see it happening right here. So, looks like potentially Wyatt Mickelson getting into the 7 ride of Caden Gargiulo right here. Okay, so it starts back with the 32. So, Nick Biddy gets in here a little too far, and Biddy is going to clean out the 51 right there, runs into Wyatt Mickelson, gets him sideways and sliding up the racetrack. Unfortunately, slides up the track and into the 7 ride. That'll put the 7 and the number 51 both up and into the outside fence. Pretty solid contact there for both drivers, and for Nick Biddy, that will bring the yellow flag back out. So another caution flag and another restart here this evening, as this is the second stage from this second stage. I think is cursed, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a bit of a caution fest here. We saw some great green flag racing there in that first stage, and since then it has been tough sledding, just trying to get things under control and things rolling here once again, as we'll get these drivers ready to rumble, ready to go back to battle here in this one. Who will find their way up to the front? Who will make the right calls, the right choices at the right time to try and put themselves into victory lane here this evening? Out in front, Matthew Wood, he's going to elect to use that outside lane here for the restart. So Matthew Wood chooses the outside lane. That'll move Aiden Lucas there in position number 2 down to his inside. So we'll have to wait and see if Matthew Wood can get another great restart, beat that 34 ride, and continue to lead this race here this evening. As the laps continue to click down and we get closer and closer to the end of the stage, obviously not a super long run. There's still a black flag on the 3 right of Ethan Greek. I'm not sure if he may have to serve a pit road penalty here or not. If he does, that could easily put him multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, as the 16 right of Matthew Wood does get the restart he was looking for. It allows Evan Stewart to roll right around the outside here of that 34 ride, moving Aiden Lucas back into position number 3. As here we go back, the green flag battling, and quickly the caution flag will come right back out here, as Haller's going to run into issues, more issues out there on the racetrack. As, man, it is tough sledding, man. I don't know what is going on, what is happening here in this stage. See the 97 ride, unfortunately, gets down onto the apron. He goes around, nowhere to go for Haller, nowhere to go for Jeff Herrick, as he gets tied up in it. As the 97 rider, Caleb Holloman, who's already a few laps down here, he's about, I'm going to say 5 laps down out there on the racetrack, if my calculations are correct. And unfortunately, as he just rolls into corner number 3 here, right here, gets a little loose, gets into the apron, goes around. You already saw a couple other drivers stacked up there on the outside lane, but that was in front of all this chaos back here, and unfortunately turned around, parked the wrong direction. Caution flag will come back out here. As Caboose says, pull it together, guys. Pull it together, fellas. Come on now. Get things under control. Get things rolling. Get things smoothed out here. If anything, you know, the officials may even have to make this single file restarts here to try to get things a little bit more cool, calm, and collected out there on the racetrack to try to get some green flag laps in here. We'll have to wait and see what the call is, if they stay double file, and if these drivers can kind of get things kind of recollected here again, as this is going to make things very, very interesting here throughout the rest of this race. As out in front, Matthew Wood continues to hold on to the race lead, looking to just continue to keep the track position. You get these restarts, have the track position be out in front. You know, it's pretty easy sledding here for the 16 ride. Just have to say these restarts, hit a couple corners, and then lead about 3 or 4 more laps before we see the green flag fly here out there on the Speedway. So, you know, we'll see what he can continue doing. I don't know if running up and down the racetrack like this is going to be the best call. May cause damage to the front end of that car, especially that splitter may end up getting some damage, so we have to be a little bit careful with that. But we'll get them ready to rock and roll, get ready to try to go back to green flag racing here in just a few more moments.
Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, PeaceMaker, keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy.
Alrighty, the grind definitely staying a little greasy here tonight, as we are now done 100 laps of racing action. 150 laps left to go here as we get ready to set them back loose. About 20 laps left to go here in this second stage of the afternoon. So stage number 2 coming to an end here, and maybe the carnage and mayhem also coming to a close, as here we go, green flag back it into the air. Matthew Wood, another good restart, able to launch nicely there, get in front of that 37 ride of Evan Stewart. Stewart able to get a great restart there as well, and able to stay in position number 2 on the Speedway. Aiden Lucas back there in position number 3. Jaden Browner back in 4th. Nick Biddy trying to work his way into that 4th position, as Caden Gargiulo just on the outside of the top 5 looking in as the number 46 of Mike Corriveau doing a great job here, rolls there in 7th. Keegan Huey up and into 8th as Nick Jensen back there in 9th, as now we do see the 46 ride running into issues. Mike Corriveau having some problems there on corner exit. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it, able to keep this thing rolling and not bringing out the caution flag right here, as unfortunately the 22q.org ride gets very, very loose there in the corner, able to catch it, able to keep it rolling, but it doesn't last for long as the caution flag will come back out here, as it looks like Wyatt Mickelson going to run into some problems here again. So let's take a look here and see what happens to Wyatt. Is Wyatt rolling here? Looks like he's loose out of the corner, gets up into the outside fence and goes around. So let's take a look. Yeah, just by him lonesome here. Already damage to that right front and just comes out of the corner. Thing gets loose, tries to save it, snaps around on him, goes up and around and parked there on the racetrack. That will bring the yellow flag back out now. Luckily enough for Mickelson, able to keep himself still on the lead lap here and stay in front of our race leaders, but is going to elect to come down pit road and make a pit stop here. I do believe Ryan Haller still a lap down here. Now, I'm not sure why we haven't seen any free passes or lucky dogs, but the 23 ride is in position here. He's the first car 1 lap down. I do believe he should get the lucky dog here. Ethan Greek did have to serve a pass-through penalty there for the 3 ride. Unfortunately, he did go a couple laps down on the racetrack, so that's a tough break for the 3 ride. He was having a solid run up there inside the top 2, top 3 here throughout this race. Getting that penalty definitely going to send him back. We'll have to wait and see if he can try to get those laps back and get back into the battle, as Jeff Hurrick multiple laps down there. We do see Mickelson still down pit road, bet to roll back out here, trying to keep himself on the lead lap as Matthew Wood as the race lead, looking to try to keep these guys back there at bay. As Anna says, good start. Matthew, he's been nailing these restarts, man. But the thing is that with all of these yellow flags and all of these restarts, the drivers that are behind him, they're starting to learn his tendencies. They're starting to figure out what he's doing, where he likes to launch, where he feels more comfortable here on getting onto the throttle. And if they can start to time it nicely, if they can get a little bit closer to where he's getting these jumps, they may be able to close that gap. So for the 16 right of Matthew Wood, you're going to start to try to play a little bit of mind games here with these other drivers. You're going to start to kind of go a little early in the box, a little later in the box, maybe right in towards the middle of that restart zone, trying to keep all these drivers continuously on their tippy toes. That way they never know, or they can never guess correctly on when you are going to get a good launch and be able to quickly be able to, try to stay door to door with him or stay glued to his back bumper, as we'll get them all ready to rumble. We'll get ready to go back. The green flag racing here in this one. We'll get ready to set these guys back loose and see what they can do out there on the speedway, as Matthew Wood hoping for another big restart here, hoping for another great launch, a perfect restart, and trying to keep these guys back there at bay, as he's hoping to win stage number 2 here. And as we talked about stage number 2, it is quickly coming to a close. As we go back to green flag racing, it'll be 11 lap shootout here before this stage will come to an end. So even if we do start to get some green flag laps under our belt, the stage will come to an end here in not too long from now, as Matthew Wood out in front gets another great launch, another great jump right here, as he looks to try to keep all these guys back there at bay. Evan Stewart, great restart as well, hangs on to second as Aiden Lucas trying to hold off Nick Biddy. Biddy looking to try to make the move around him here, hoping to try to steal position number 3 away from Aiden here, knowing that he's got an opportunity throughout this race to maybe gain some very valuable points, maybe move himself up a spot or 2 here in the championship contention, and trying to get that job done as he rolls to the outside here of Aiden Lucas. Lucas, who unfortunately missed the first 4 or 5 races of our playoffs, kind of stuck here down low. He's trying to move around, trying to keep that 32 right back there at bay for Aiden Lucas. Unfortunately, has kind of missed so many races that it's taken him out of contention for the championship, but he may be able to play devil's advocate here, maybe hurt the chances of some of these other drivers, as he does bounce it off the fence right there. Biddy is able to get around him up and into third here, as Matthew Wood has the race lead, continues to stretch it out here, now out to about a second gap between himself and Evan Stewart. Stewart, unfortunately, just not there with him, just does not have that pace to be able to try to jump up here and move and take this race lead away from Matthew Wood, but if Matthew can quickly catch up to lap traffic, it could potentially start to hurt him out there on the speedways. Lap traffic not too far away from our race leader. You take a look back here at Jeff Hurrick. Hurrick rolling there in the 17th position. Matthew Wood is about half a lap away, so I think he should be okay. Should have clean track here until the end of this stage. Is down across the line now for that 16 run. It is about 4 laps left to go here in this stage. Unfortunately, that means potentially, well, obviously another caution flag here on the horizon, and we see what these cautions can do. These cautions continue to breed cautions, and that's the last thing we want to see is another yellow flag get displayed, but the stage must come to a close as Matthew Wood has the race lead. Evan Stewart back there in tow. Nick Biddy in third. Aiden Luke is trying to take it back away from him, though, as here comes Jaden Browder. Browder rolling there in position number 5 as it's tight racing here for third. Biddy does not want to give it up, but Aiden Lucas wants to take it away from him as they are side by side here in Bristol Motor Speedway, battling for that third position as Matthew Wood continues to pull farther and farther out in front, and this time down across the line. We'll see 1 lap left to go here in stage number 2. So 1 lap left here in stage 2 for Matthew Wood as he heads down the back straightaway into 3 and out of 4. Matthew Wood will see that green and white checkered flag fly as he wins stage number 2 here this evening. So stage number 2 going to come to a close. There is the caution flag. Evan Stewart comes home in second. Aiden Lucas in third. Nick Biddy back in fourth, and Jaden Browder rounding out our top 5. All earning stage points here in stage number 2. Caden Gargiulo, Zach Lader, Keegan Huey, Zach Perry, and Nick Jensen are top 10 out there on the speedway. Jason Bogart, Wyatt Mickelson, Brandon Eddington, Ryan Haller are top 14, all still in the lead lap. Now Ethan Greek is trying to stay out here potentially, or maybe in line for the lucky dog here to at least move him from 2 laps down to 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. So we should see the at least maybe another driver here. If we get another caution flag, Greek may be able to get himself a little bit closer to being back on the lead lap here today. Unfortunately for Jeff Hurrick, he's still got to wait for a lot of caution flags to be able to try to get back on the lead lap. We did see Mike Corvo unfortunately make an unscheduled pit stop there on lap 117. He is now a few laps down back there in 17th. Caleb Holloman, he is quite a few laps down back here in position number 18. Xavier Rugglebruggy still down pit road, still trying to get this car repaired, still wanting to hop back out there on the racetrack. Same with Jaden Porter there in the 74 ride. Dustin Hardy and Nathan Brookover unfortunately are done and out of this race as Matthew Wood beats everyone from pit road in the 16 ride. Continues to hold on to the race lead as we'll get them all stacked up, all racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here in just a little bit. Back to green flag battle in just a few more moments as we're halfway in here now, virtually halfway in, halfway to go in this race. So still a lot of time, still a lot of areas that you can try to improve, try to find a little extra speed, play a little bit of strategy, and if we do see some good green flag laps being laid down, potentially having to see, you know, green flag pit stops here this evening as well. So if we do run into green flag pit stops, that could really mix things up here this evening because penalties could happen in a quick hurry. Problems coming down pit road could definitely put you into a position that you can take yourself out of a win in a quick hurry. As Matthew Wood will get ready for this restart, he will look to try to keep all these guys back at bay, as he'll look to try to put himself up and into victory lane here this evening as the 16 rider Matthew Wood out in front. We'll get stacked up door to door here. Lights are off the official iRacing pace car. We'll go back to green flag racing next time around the racetrack, and we will jump into our PeaceMaker Gaming. Crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want you guys to crank up the volume here and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on PeaceMaker Gaming as we go back to green flag racing for our final stage of the day. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session out there on the speedways. Matthew Wood continues to hold on to the race lead. He has been that reflection of perfection here this evening. Qualified in that pole position, has led pretty much every single lap here this evening, and this 16 ride is looking like he may be on his way to picking up another big win here and extending his points lead here for that championship. Aiden Luke is back behind him, trying to hunt him down here this evening as Evan Stewart rolls there in position number 3. Nick Biddy back there in 4th as we see Zach Clater there in 5th, and some issues for Caden Gargiulo, and the caution flag will fly. The caution flag will be displayed here on lap 168 as Caden Gargiulo goes around. Let's take a look here, see what happens, what brings this caution flag back out. That was a great green flag run right there. Second stage was definitely pretty tough for a lot of these drivers. It was tough sledding to get going, and unfortunately right here, just kind of trying to get checked up. I do believe that was Caleb Holloman in front of him getting into the fence, so I think he was trying to get checked up a little bit for that, and then just lost the handle of the car, goes around, ends up nosed into the inside fence, and that's what brings out our caution flag. Tough break there for the team. Watson setups right as he'll get an opportunity to come down pit road and try to jump back in here as we're going to get ready to keep on battling here in this one, as each and every one of them trying to get rolling, trying to get drive in here, trying to put themselves into a position to maybe pick up a big win here this evening as Matthew Wood does head down pit road. Now this may bring in the opportunity here for drivers to make it to the end of this race without having to come back down pit road. This may be the final pit stop. It may not be. They may still be a little bit shy here of the numbers, but we do see everyone on the lead lap. They elect to come down pit road. So Matthew Wood down pit side, Aiden Lucas also down pit road, Stewart, Biddy, Clater, and everybody else. Says Jimmy 6 times. What's good, Jimmy? Says go Wyatt and the PSCRL gang. Says go Wyatt and Ryan, cheering them on here this evening as they get ready to keep on battling tonight. They'll look to try to keep battling their way up towards the front. Wyatt's had a bit of an up and down evening for the 51 ride, but we'll see where he kind of lines up here for the next restart. For Ryan Haller, a couple times has went a lap down. Unfortunately, again, he is a lap down out there on the speedway. He's in a tough position, as I do believe Caden Gargiulo going to get the wave around back on a lead lap. Ethan Greek down pit side. He's also going to need a lucky dog here at some point, so it's going to be a battle here for the lucky dog between Ethan Greek and Ryan Haller for potentially the next caution flag, if we get another caution flag here this evening. So we'll get them all rolling here once again. Everyone will get ready to go back to green flag racing. It is Matthew Wood who gets the good pit stop here, is able to keep the race lead, and he's going to use the outside lane. Aiden Lucas there in second with the 37. Evan Stewart there in third. Nick Biddy to his outside in position number 4 with Zach Glader, Jaden Browder, Wyatt Mickelson back in 7th. The 76 of Zach Perry there in 8th. Then we see the 42 of Nick Jensen in the 38 right of Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Jason Bogart back in position number 11. Brandon Ennington there in 12th. Caden Gargiulo, Ryan Haller, Ethan Greek, our top 15 out there on the speedways. Here we go, back to green flag racing here in this one as we get the green flag back out here in this race. The number 16 of Matthew Wood. Caden brought that yellow out and gets the wave around. Yeah, I don't know how that works or whatnot, but I do know, obviously, he went a lap down after spinning and getting stopped there. Wood was able to get around him, so then he was just able to stay out on the racetrack, did not pit. So not pitting was enough for him to get the wave around. Not the lucky dog, got the wave there as he brought the caution out, but he didn't come down pit road, and that does put him back on the lead lap. So Matthew Wood out in front here, though. He's looking to just run away with this one. Aiden Luke is there in second. Nick Biddy back there in third. Evan Stewart in fourth with Jaden Browder rounding out our top 5 here on the speedway. Browder's been kind of hanging out here. He's been looking pretty strong at certain points in time throughout this race. Be interesting to see why he's got left up his, in his back pocket here for later on here this evening. But the time is slowly but surely quickly running out. Less than 75 laps left to go here in this race. And for Matthew Wood, he's been out in front, pretty much leading every single lap here this evening, except for maybe 1 or 2 races or 1 or 2 laps here potentially that he was not out in front during one of those first caution flags. The things kind of got a little jumbled up down pit road. We saw Mickelson leading a few laps there, but did not take long for Matthew to get back to the point and back out in front. And since then has not given it up as he continues just to try to pull away here from Aiden Lucas. Almost a second gap back now already for that 34 ride. Nick Biddy rolls in position number 3 with Evan Stewart there in position number 4. Browder, Zach Clater, and Zach Perry are top 6 and 7 right there as Wyatt Mickelson falls back to position number 8. Nick Jensen back in 9th and Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Now it is Ethan Greek who's in the lucky dog position. If he can get another caution flag, could potentially get that wave around back on the lead lap here this evening for Ryan Haller. Unfortunately for Haller, the car is fixed up. It is looking good, but he had fallen back and is no longer in the free pass position. That's a tough spot to be here, and you do see Jason Bogart kind of back there with him. Unfortunately for Bogart, he's back in the 11th position here, but you know, he's still hanging strong here in that Turning Point USA 17 ride. He'll look to continue to try to battle his way up towards the front here, trying to get some more points here on the season, hoping that he can move forward, maybe leapfrog a few drivers or trying to get himself a little closer to some cats here to try to advance himself in our point standings. As right now, Matthew Wood has the points lead. The 16 ride, almost a 100-point differential between himself and Grant Applegate. Applegate not out there on the racetrack here this evening, so that point lead will grow even more, and especially after winning our first 2 stages of this race. 16 ride could start next Sunday's race with, I'm going to say somewhere around potentially maybe if he can finish this off and pick up another win, he could have a 110, 120 point lead between himself and potentially Evan Stewart, Zach Clater, Mickelson, Biddy, all these guys that are back there in tow trying to chase him down. Unfortunately, they are already a lot of points back behind him, and it could grow to a crazy amount here over the next few laps and into the next couple weeks here, where he may even lock in as our champion before we even hit our championship race. That is definitely the way it's kind of playing out here this season, where Matthew Wood could potentially lock down the championship with, you know, 2 races remaining on the season, maybe even 3 races left on the season. He could lock in as the champion and not even virtually have to run those races. Could just kind of sit down pit side and enjoy the racing action himself, and maybe some more of these other drivers to pick up some wins here on the season. Is Aiden Lucas in tow, trying to hunt him down, trying to prevent that, not wanting to see Matthew Wood pick up another win here in the series. Is Nick Biddy back there in 3rd. Evan Stewart hanging tough though in position number 4. He continues to look for more as he works to the back bumper of that 32 ride. Zach Clater able to get around Jaden Browder, and Browder slides back to 6. Zach Clater back up inside the top 5. So Browder back to 6 with Zach Perry, Mickelson, Jensen all in tow. Here's Keegan Huey rounding out our top 10 in that Turning Point USA number 38 machine. Is Jason Bogart, his Turning Point USA ride there in 11th. Brandon Eddington in the Body Armor machine. He rolls there in 12th with Caden Gargiulo back in 13th. Ethan Greek in 14th. Still the first car 1 lap down. He definitely wants to see another caution flag. Wants to get that lucky dog and try to get back on the lead lap. I'm sure Haller wouldn't mind a couple yellows in trying to get himself back into the action here this evening as well. Unfortunately for both Ethan Greek and Ryan Haller, they are in front of our 11th place drivers out there on the racetrack, but unfortunately for both drivers, they are still a lap down out there on the Speedway. Mike Corvu a few laps down there in that 22q.org ride as he rolls back in the 16th position. Jeff Hurrick multiple laps down, scored back in 17th. Caleb Holloman a lot of laps down back there in the 97 ride, as we do see and hear some contact. The caution flag is out, and it is Ethan Greek that goes around. So Ethan Greek goes for a loop-de-loop here. Let's take a look and see what happens as the 3 ride down and into corner number 1. Not sure if he just gets loose or what happens here. Okay, so out of 2, yeah, gets loose right there, trying to save it, tries to stay out of the inside fence. Unfortunately, the car kind of just hooks back up the track and into the outside wall. Heavy contact there into the outside fence, and unfortunately for the 17 ride of Jason Bogart, man. Bogart just really nowhere to go here in this one. As here we go, loses it out of corner number 2 on the Speedway, chases it all the way down the straightaway here, and then back down into corner number 3. Unfortunately, it's up into the outside fence right here. This is a big hit, heavy hit. You see the car up off all 4 tires and slide and bounce it around the racetrack here, and all of a sudden kind of comes to a stop, and oh, baby, right there, nowhere to go for Bogart. Slams into the side of him, heavy damage there for the Turning Point USA, number 17 ride. Heartbreaker there for Bogart. Tough break there for Ethan Greek as the caution flag is displayed again. Greek is down pit road here for an extended period of time, trying to get that thing repaired. We'll see if, quick fix there on Jason Bogart. Does look like he's got that quick repair. Going to throw some tires onto this car as well, and he'll get ready to roll back out on the Speedway. Now, I'm not sure. I do believe that Ryan Haller is going to get the lucky dunk. So for Haller, back on the lead lap. Great break there for Ryan Haller as he's back into the action, back into the lead lap here this evening. So another W there for Ryan Haller. Now you'll have to see if he can stay on the lead lap and try to navigate his way up here a little closer towards the front, trying to earn himself some big points here this evening as the 12 Ryan trying to leave his box. 23 hits his stall, and Crew's going to go to work and try to get that car repaired, fixed up, and back out there onto the racetrack. As out in front, it is Aiden Lucas. So Aiden Lucas able to beat Matthew Wood out of pit road, and so does Nick Biddy. So this is the first time here this evening. Actually, it's the second time, honestly. Second time we've seen Matthew Wood not restart on the at the front of the field, not have the helm here for these restarts. And for the 16 ride, he's going to have to try to figure something out here. He's going to have to find a way to not only get around the 34 ride of Aiden Lucas, but also get around that 32 of Nick Biddy, and now having to use the inside lane. Great move right there by Aiden Lucas, electing to use the outside groove here, knowing that he can get a bit better of a launch and a better drive than what that 16 ride can here from the outside lane, and that may bring Zach Cleater right with him, which could in turn slide the 16 ride back into position number 4 on the racetrack in a quick hurry. And having more cars between yourself and that 16 ride definitely going to be the best break for you, and also trying to keep those cars between you two and trying to pick up this win after what has been so far a fairly dominant 196 laps of this feature event for Matthew Wood. And here we go, back to green flag racing, and that's exactly what happens. So Aiden with a great restart, the 39 on the outside, trying to steal position number 3 away from Matthew Wood. They drag race down the back straightaway here and into corner number 3. Nice and easy out of 4, and it looks like the 39 of Zach Claytor will stay in position number 3 here. Now going after position number 2 is Matthew Wood. Going to have to try to find a little something extra here. Going to have to try to find an extra gear out there on the racetrack to help navigate himself up there towards the front of the pack, as here comes the 81 ride. Jaden Browder right there ready to pounce, as well as everyone now chasing down Aiden Lucas. And really for the first time here this evening, green flag laps and a bunch of laps that Matthew Wood is not out in front, but we do see the caution flag come right back out. So Brandon Eddington going to run into some issues here. Keep your eye on the body armor number 12 ride there at the top of the screen, as he's going to run into some issues here. Got Nick Jensen in front of him. That's the 7 of Caden Gargiulo back there behind him, and it looks like it starts all the way in front of him, actually, with the 51 ride of Wyatt Mickelson, and then a lot of other drivers just kind of nowhere to go, not enough time to get checked up, and they run into it here. Let's take a look from Wyatt's perspective. Where is Wyatt? There he is. Okay, let's take a look here and see what happens. So Wyatt down low, trying to get a big run here on Zach Perry and Evan Stewart. Sends it into the corner, gets into the back end of the 76. And as he does, looks like he just gets onto the binders there a little bit, locks up that set of rear tires, and as he does, it just knocks that rear end loose. He starts to go around, nowhere to go for Keegan Huey. May have given him a little extra nudge right there. Unfortunately for the 51, though, sliding sideways. Here comes the 17 as Bogart slams into him. Bogart gets ran into. They all get up into the outside fence. So does in the 12 ride, the 7 of Gargiulo. Heavy damage there for all of them, and then we see Hurrick get into it. The 97 ride slides in there. Here comes the 23. All right, Haller, he hits a big piece of his teammate there as him and Wyatt Mickelson run into each other. And then the 46, nowhere to go as Oh man, tough break right there. A lot of drivers just ended up with a ton of damage here. And unfortunately, a lot of tore up race cars. Everyone down pit road trying to get their cars fixed. Here comes Corvo, Gargiulo, Haller's down pit side, Jensen's down there. Looks like Bogart rolling back out onto the racetrack. Brandon Annington trying to get his car fixed up. Mickelson trying to get some repairs. Jeff Herrick trying to get some repairs, and unfortunately this may put a lot of drivers a lap down out there on the Speedway, as you don't have a whole lot of time here at Bristol to be down pit road and to be waiting patiently to try to get these, trying to get their car fixed up. Unfortunately, these laps, even under caution, get clicked off in a quick hurry as we inch closer and closer to our checkered flag, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here, I do believe, the next time by the start-finish line. Alrighty, here we go. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. As the 34 rider, Aiden Lucas, gets that green flag. Gets a great launch right there. He does have Matthew Wood in tow, though. Matthew, good jump in behind him, able to slide up, clears both the 32 of Nick Biddy and the 39 of Zach Glader. Gets back up into second. Now onto the back bumper here of that 34 ride, as Aiden Lucas rolls there in that top spot. Can he hold off Matthew Wood here? Can Wood find a lane? Can he find a way to jump up and get back around that number 34? Here comes a big run. Looks down to the inside. The 34 has to use the middle lane. Washes up the track there a little bit. May open up the doors. Now they're door to door. Down the back straightaway into corner number 3. Aiden Lucas not wanting to give it up easily, but Matthew Wood, maybe with his preferred line out there on the racetrack, does take that race lead back away from Aiden Lucas. But Aiden says, I'm not done battling yet. I'm going to continue to put on a fight here. But unfortunately, the 16 ride does clear him. Aiden has to fall back into line as Matthew Wood back out in front. Did not take him too much longer there on that restart to find himself back to the point here and trying to run away with the win here in this one, as each and every one of these drivers continue to try to run their way towards the front here, trying to find their way up here and into the top spot as the laps continue to get clicked down and we get closer and closer here with every lap, every caution, closer and closer to the front of the field. As Chris Muse says, man, what a save earlier in my race. Too bad I got a that black flag for the second pit stop. I feel I had a top 5 car. Definitely looked like you had a very fast car out there, man. Definitely looked like you had a fast car out there, Muse. Would have been fun to see what you had there late in the race, brother. As Muse coming in with the like on the stream, I appreciate that, mister. Showing the love here in this one as Matthew Wood continuing to lead the way here. Matthew Wood out in front, still showing that he is going to be a car to beat here this evening, that he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to have to try to duke it out with to even have a chance. You're going to have to try to find some sort of magic to be able to jump up here, maybe give him the bump and run, wash him into the way, push him up and out the racetrack to even give yourself an opportunity. But first, you got to catch him to even have a shot at it. Maybe a late race caution flag, NASCAR overtime, maybe on the horizon here, and that may open up the door for drivers to try to go after it, try to take advantage and steal maybe this race win away from Matthew Wood here this evening. But we've seen this 16 ride. Once he's gotten out in front, once he's gotten that race lead back, it is very tough to get back away from him. And I don't believe any of these drivers are going to have to make another pit stop here this evening. They should be good to go here to the end. They do not have to make another pit stop here unless if it's for damage repairs or to play some strategy. They should be a-okay to make it to the end of this race without having to make another pit stop. As Matthew Wood has the race lead, Aiden Lucas there in second. Zach Glader back in third with Evan Stewart there in position number 4 and looking for more. Jaden Browder in that 5th spot with Nick Biddy sliding back now into position position number 6. Zach Perry there in 7th. Keegan Huey there in 8th. And then we see Caden Gargiulo in 9th. And it is a battle here for that 10th position as Mike Corriveau trying to take it away here from Jason Bogart. Bogart trying to hold on to that 10th spot on the racetrack. Unfortunately, looks like he will lose. It still has a bit of right front damage there on that 17 ride. Nick Jensen a little farther back behind them in position number 12, and Ryan Haller back in position number 13. Now for Haller, he is the first car, 1 lap down now. Heavy front end damage still to this 23 ride, just trying to salvage as much as he can out of the day. It's been a tough day for that 23 ride. Definitely struggled here at Bristol, and unfortunately rolling there in that 13th spot. Not a fun place to be, as Caleb Holloman there in 14th. Ethan Greek up and into 15th here, as we do see Brandon Eddington down pit road here making a green flag pit stop. Wyatt Mickelson still down pit lane here. That may be the end of his night. And we do see Jeff Herrick, Xavier Rugglebrunky, Jaden Porter, Dustin Hardy, and Nathan Brookover look like they are all done here in this race as well. Started with 22. Looks like we got about 16 left rolling out there on the racetrack here. Maybe 17 if we get one of these drivers back out there. But as of right now, 16 cars rolling on the speedway here to try to finish off tonight's race. And nice and easy. Down into corner number 1 and out of corner number 2. Back down the back straightaway here for Matthew Wood. He's got about a 1.4 second lead now between himself and Aiden Lucas. And this time down across the line, we'll click off another lap and we get 25 more laps left to go here in this race. So 25 laps left to go here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you guys have been enjoying the racing action here this evening, if you guys have been enjoying the fun out there on the speedway, we want you guys right now to hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button on the broadcast right now. All the likes, the comments, the shares, man, they help reach more and more viewers and bringing in more fans in the stands here to cheer these amazing drivers on. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for us right now. Drop a couple comments as these drivers continue to duke it out. Now, do we see potentially a late race restart? Do we see a caution flag come out here in the closing 30 laps or so of this race? Or do we see maybe another good green flag run here and potentially finishing off this race under the green flag without another caution flag here this evening? What do you guys think? Do you guys think we will have another yellow flag, or do you think we stay clean and green here from this point on to the checkered flag? As Matthew Wood hangs on to the race lead now, 1.8 seconds between himself and Aiden Lucas. Zach Clater there in 3rd with Evan Stewart back in 4th. Jaden Browder in position number 5, still having a solid run here for that Red Bull machine. Browder in 5th. It's Nick Biddy back in position number 6. We'll have to wait and see if the Nick Biddy Designs ride can find a couple more spots here, try to earn a few more points here on the evening. As Caden Gargiulo back there in 7th. Zach Perry in position number 8 with Keegan Huey and Mike Corriveau rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. Jason Bogart there in 11th. Nick Jensen in position number 12. Jensen has now fallen a lap down, so we only have 11 drivers left on the lead lap. As of right now, 11 drivers left to duke it out here this evening on the lead lap. This late in the race as Matthew Wood has control of this and continue to pull away farther and farther here from Aiden Lucas. It is now a 2.2 second gap between 1st and 2nd as Aiden Lucas got a little hung up there trying to make his way around that 42 ride of Nick Jensen, trying to get through that lap traffic. It seemed to play a bit of a role here in Aiden trying to stick with that 16 ride through a couple of our longer green flag runs here on the day. And unfortunately, again, looks like the 34 fighting back here. Maybe the car just starting to go away from him, then obviously trying to get through some of that lap traffic has been hurting that 34 ride here this evening, but he hangs on to position number 2. Zach Clater there in 3rd with Evan Stewart in position number 4 and looking for more. Here comes Nick Biddy trying to storm his way back up here as he looks down to the inside here of the 81 of Jaden Browder. Browder, unfortunately, in a tight battle here at the 32 in the closing laps of this race. Says nice and easy for Matthew Wood out in front, kind of on cruise control here, maybe able to stay on cruise control for the rest of this race. A 2.8-second gap here is down across the line. It's only 13 laps left to go. So 13 laps left here in this race in a sizable 2.8-second gap. Now going to add another car in behind him here to make it maybe a little tougher for Aiden Lucas to maybe even try to close that gap and reel him in late in this race as the laps will continue to get clicked off here, and our checkered flag is not very far away as these drivers still running virtually sub 16-second lap times out there on the racetrack. In doing so, you're clicking off 3-4 laps almost every minute, and these guys are doing it in quick fashion here, man, and looking very, very good doing it as the 16 rider Matthew Wood hangs onto the race lead down across the line. He will see 10 laps left to go. So 10 laps left here this evening for Matthew Wood to try to find his way into victory lane in a race that he has virtually dominated. Won the pole, won both stages, and now looking to try to win this race and be that reflection of perfection here this evening, as he's going to put Ryan Haller another lap down. Heartbreaker there for Haller, going another lap down, scored back in that 13th position. Jason Bogart right there in his Turning Point USA number 17 right at risk of potentially going a lap down here as well as our race leader right there behind him. Obviously, there's still a lot of time left in this race, but for that number 17 ride, it's going to get a little tougher here. He needs a quick caution flag to get that lap back, get the lucky dog, and back on the lead lap here this evening as the laps continue to click down. The one thing that's on the back of the mind for Matthew Wood, you got a 3-second lead. All you want to do is see that white flag fly. You can see that white flag fly. You can kind of just sit it on cruise control for the final lap and keep all these guys at bay and pick up another win here on the season, extending his points lead here. As he heads down the back straight away, he knows that he's getting super close to seeing that white flag being displayed here this evening. As down across the line, it will be 5 laps left to go. So 5 laps left here this evening for Matthew Wood to try to capture tonight's checkered flag, as Aiden Luke is still in tow but continuing to slide farther and farther back. The gap is now 3.3 seconds between himself and our race leader is Matthew Wood. Again, just trying to make sure that he gets that white flag out here. Does not want to see a caution flag, does not want to give an opportunity for Aiden Lucas, Evan Stewart, Nick Biddy, or Zach Clater, or anyone else inside our top 10 that are still on the lead lap an opportunity to try and win this race or steal it away from that 16 ride. So he heads down the back straightaway, sends it into corner number 3, down underneath the Turning Point USA 42 of Nick Jensen, putting him 2 laps down across the line. It is 2 laps left to go here for Matthew Wood. So 2 laps left here in this race as Matthew sends it down the back straightaway, nice and easy into corner number 3, down and out of corner number 4. We'll see that white flag fly. So the next flag will end this race no matter what, whether it's a caution flag or the checker flag. The race will end under the next one as Matthew Wood for the final time down into 3, nice and easy out of corner number 4, and our points leader will win another race here this evening as he picks up the checkered flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Matthew Wood gets it done and wins tonight's feature event. So the 16 ride back into victory lane. Aiden Lucas comes home in 2nd. Evan Stewart there in 3rd. Nick Biddy in 4th with Zach Clater rounding out our top 5. Jaden Browder, Caden Gargiulo, Zach Perry, Keegan Huey, and Mike Corvo rounding out our top 10 here today. But it's all Matthew Wood as he gets to celebrate the checkered flag here this evening. A big win here for that number 16 machine as Matthew Wood gets the job done and finds his way back into victory lane for another huge win here on the season. As Miss Haller says congrats, Anna says yay. Matthew cheered on Mr. Wood all evening long, and he's been hearing your cheers. He's been seeing your congratulations in his driving this car just into more and more checkered flags as he'll get ready to maybe pull this thing up and into our Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane here this evening as we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews. As post-race interviews coming up next, we'll get all these drivers in here and see what they got to say about tonight's feature event, where they finished, how they finished, and how they fared out here on the speedways. Here you go. You do see the 16 ride heads down and into the pit lane area. He'll look to maybe bring this car up and into Victory Lane. We'll have to wait and see. As here we go. There he is, going up the big ramp and into our Bristol Motor Speedway Victory Lane here this evening is Matthew Wood, as we'll get ready to get him out of the car and up here into the broadcast booth for his post-race interview. As Haynes Kemp says, not the night Wyatt and I needed. Caught up into too many wrecks. Yeah, unfortunately, too many wrecks, too many issues there for Mr. Haller and Mickelson here this evening. But I know you guys will bounce back next week, and I feel there's a lot of drivers that are feeling the exact same way as you guys are right now. Haller is see if we can get Matthew in here. It says, use my quick repair at lap 200, then got caught up in a wreck. Yeah, that's usually the way to go. As soon as you use it, you end up needing it again right afterwards. As here we go, we'll pull in Matthew Wood into the broadcast booth here for his post-race interview. Hey Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Brother.
Matthew, man, another win, another dub, and a little bit more of a cushion between yourself and the rest of the field here, trying to pick up the championship here in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. As Matthew, you park it back up in the Bass Pro Shops Bristol Motor Speedway Victory Lane here this evening, man. Take us back through this one, as it was pretty clear sailing for you. Obviously, able to qualify on the pole, win both stages. You had to do a little bit of work there, trying to get back to the front after a little bit of a slower pit stop there, where we saw a couple drivers, including Aiden Lucas and Zach Clater, get in front of you, but you're able to go to work, get back in front of them, put yourself right here into Victory Lane, man. Take us through it. What's going through your mind right now from Victory Lane?
Yeah, they took 2 tires there, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not. We were all just kind of wondering that ourselves, but yeah, I've been sick all week. It sounds like I'm in a wind tunnel. My eardrums are betraying me, and so is my nose. But yeah, I love short tracks. It's just, I guess my road experience kind of helps, where you have to brake and it's sharper corners and all that. But the outside lane could never really get going, which was one of my concerns when I got put back in the field there a little bit. But I was able to get a good restart behind Aiden, or able to pass everybody and get back up to the front. But overall, like I said, good race. A lot more green flags than some other leagues that I've had at Bristol. I know we had quite a few cautions, but compared to some other leagues I've done at Bristol, this was night and day difference. So definitely a good race.
Yeah, definitely some great racing out there. Obviously, we saw a slew of caution flags there in that second stage, but we did see some pretty good green flag racing out there as well at times, as we did see some pretty good stints where you guys were able to really open things up, and you were able to put a lot of these guys a lap down, obviously put them into some very tough positions out there on the racetrack, and then for yourself, just being able to lead pretty much, I don't even know, I'd probably say close to, 135, 140 laps of this race, virtually the reflection of perfection here all night long.
Yeah, and everybody was running with a lot of respect. I think it was mainly just the restarts where everybody's kind of on top of each other, and it goes back to the outside lane just wouldn't work, and especially in 1 and 2, there's that big bump. It'd send people up the racetrack. You couldn't, as long as you were on the bottom, you wouldn't really feel it, and the more you got up top, it'd be worse. But I don't want to use this interview to congratulate myself, because I know we've all had a very hard week. And I know there's, and no offense, but I know there's not going to be many people, just as far as the whole spectrum goes. There's not many people watching. I know we're going to get a couple hundred views. There's a lot of live listeners, but the more people that can hear this message, the better. We need to come together as Americans. We can't keep letting this happen. Charlie was an incredible man, and I didn't agree with a lot, but I agreed in the fact that he was bold in his faith in Jesus Christ, and he is coming back soon. And if you don't know him, please text me, because you need to. And the more people that I can hear that message, the better this world will be, because he loves you and he loves me. And I think that something will come out of this no matter what. But our our thoughts are with his family. And I don't, if you're celebrating the whole thing, if you're celebrating this, then I pray for you. I don't think we should come at them with violence, but I pray for you because that's evil. It really is.
Absolutely, brother. Definitely evil and definitely messed up to anyone that's been celebrating. And I know I've had a hard time trying to sleep a lot of nights afterwards, and a lot of time on Twitter watching the people that were celebrating what happened, lose their jobs and careers and everything else. And I think that is absolutely hilarious because we don't need these, those evil people, in our schools teaching children this stuff, indoctrinating them into it, or in our military, or protecting the president, or being doctors, nurses, stuff like that. Man, it's crazy that the amount of people that have are celebrating the fact that a beautiful man, a father, a husband, and was taken away from the world for nothing, for senseless evil.
And I agree. And there's more as well. The lady on the train, there's been multiple stabbings, school shootings,
Yeah.
and I'm a kid myself, but I can see the world, and it's but yeah, I just thank you all for supporting me always, and thank the Lord for what He's done for me. Um, thank all the admins; they do a great job. I think they've really taken me in as family. I've known some of these guys for 4 or 5 years, and they've made a lot of it worth it. Hopefully, I can take this career somewhere that you know ends up for me being famous, not for my self-reflection, but to spread good messages and give money back to the people that need it.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matthew, heck of a run here this evening, man. Again, congratulations again on another great run, another great race, and another win here on the season. And we can't wait to see you back in action again here next Sunday night. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Thank you, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Matthew Wood. Matthew picking up the dub here this evening as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 34 of Aiden Lucas. Hey, Aiden, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy? Hey, Aiden, it's Aaron up here in the booth. Do you get a copy? Alrighty, so it does not look like we got Aiden Lucas in there. I'm not sure if he's disappeared or what may have gone wrong there, but we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher here this evening, the number 37 ride of Evan Stewart. Evan coming home here in third. Let's bring him up here into the booth. Hey, Evan, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Not much, Evan, man. What a run. What a race here for you, man. Obviously, keeping yourself pretty much out of the carnage, out of the mayhem out there, and putting together just a solid effort. Up inside the top, 5, 6, 7 here all night long. Inside the top 3 there, battling a few times with Matthew Wood and Aiden Lucas. And here to cap things off, you're able to get right back up there, put yourself into that third position, and hold off, Nick Biddy and Zach Clater and everyone else to come home with a solid podium finish here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind here this evening?
So it was definitely different from the spring race. I definitely had more confidence. I did the Bristol 500 yesterday, and I basically used it as my practice for today. It was got some pretty good data from it. If we could have got the green flag run I was wanting in the third stage, I think maybe I could have been able to keep up with Matthew. I don't think I was faster than Matthew. I mean, my main focus was probably my main battle probably would have been Aiden, but we're getting somewhere. I think that's top 3 finishes back to back weeks. So, or no, that's top 3 finishes in 2 out of the 3 weeks because we went to Dago last week. But other than that, we're showing that we can contend. Hopefully, one day, like I said, we'll put one of Jaden's nice looking paints in victory lane and get him his first win other than Aiden and Matthew. So, yeah, other than that, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Looked like a lot of fun. Obviously, a few caution flags there. The second stage, obviously, a little bit rougher, but you were in front of it, able to keep yourself kind of out of all that carnage. And obviously, having all these restarts and everything else, and lane selection seemed like the inside lane obviously did not fire off as well as the outside lane, or wherever the leader really decided to choose to launch from, kind of really judged on where drivers would move forward or backwards, and you could lose a spot or two on these restarts. So you really had to just kind of keep yourself in a good position and hope that you kind of got the lucky breaks there on a lot of these restarts to be able to maybe gain a spot or two and not give them back in a couple of laps out there on the racetrack, man. Take us through some of those restarts and what was kind of going through your mind there with them.
So I love Ethan to death. No offense to Ethan, but when Ethan was up there starting next to Matthew, I was kind of telling Matthew where to choose, so I didn't have to deal with him. Because the bottom lane on the restarts, if you get people that know how to run the middle lane, it's the bottom lane's not the preferred lane on restarts. And for the first few laps, I would say the middle lane's more superior. But as the run goes on and as people wear their tires, that you kind of just see us migrate to the bottom. As what most of the race was. But uh, it was just all about timing up the restart with my teammate and making sure that we were all clicking on all cylinders, because it was me and Aiden and Matthew in the top 10 for most of the night and on the front rows. So we were just trying to make sure we all had a good, clean restart and could race it out for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys did duke it out here quite a bit this evening. A lot of great side-by-side action and a lot of, good battles here throughout the evening. And you're able to capture a solid top three run again. Obviously, as you said, you're, clicking on all cylinders here. You're starting to, get a little bit more of a hang of these things, start to learn these tracks a little bit more, and we can continue to see even throughout just this season how much you've progressed and continue to get these good finishes and good runs. And obviously, in the future, I'm sure one of these nights we're going to see you up here in Victory Lane.
That'd be the hope, man. That's the hope.
Absolutely. Well, having a solid run, a solid top three run here this evening, man. Who would you like to thank for another great performance out there on the racetrack?
Once again, like I do every week, I'm in the broadcast booth. I got to thank my uncle Rodney. He's become a big part of your chat. I've seen he joins throughout the week now. He uh, he saw me running Outcast, and I didn't even tell him about that. That was kind of just a surprised me when I saw him in the chat. So we're hoping to be back out there next week at Dover and getting a good result there. We picked up a shift today at work, so we had to miss that. My brother always he'll probably text me either in the morning or he'll stop by in the morning and come and give me a dap up for finishing third and give me a hug and say he's proud of me. He's also been a really big supporter in my progress this season, and I'd like to thank my admin team and my drivers. Without any of them, none of this would be possible. You got to have good drivers and somewhat decent drivers to make even a racing possible, and then you got to have an admin team that clicks on all cylinders at all times whenever stuff goes sideways to make sure that everything's content, which is not always content, but we do a decent job at keeping it leveled. And then you, of course, because you put up with us every week, so got to give you a big shout out. You do a really good job, and I can't thank you enough for it.
Absolutely, brother. No better place to spend a Sunday night than up here in the broadcast booth watching you guys duke it out here each and every single race. Evan, congrats on another great run, another good finish, and hopefully here next week we'll see you right back in the broadcast booth, maybe a couple spots better and into Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. That's the hope. I'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah, mister. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Evan Stewart. Unfortunately, I don't think Aiden Lucas is back into the Discord there, so unfortunately we can't pull him in. Shout out there to our second place driver, Aiden, having a great run, great race here all evening long. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone coming in, showing the love here throughout the evening, man. We can't thank you guys enough for showing the love here in this one. All you guys coming in, showing the love and appreciation with the likes, the comments, the shares, any of the new followers or subscribers, man. We can't thank you guys enough or welcome you enough to the PeaceMaker family. And it's not too late if you're still watching right now and you haven't already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and hit the follow button if you're watching over on Twitch or Facebook, as we're live every single night on all 3 channels to bring you guys the amazing content on your favorite streaming platforms. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, Peacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checkered flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.